Welcome, everybody, to the Local Marketing Institute's 2016 Digital Marketing Trends for Local Businesses. We're really glad to have you here. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Lori Mccumber, the Content Director for Local Marketing Institute. I am the founder and owner of Blue Skies Marketing, a full-service marketing and content agency. I'm on the board of directors of the Better Business Bureau in Colorado and Wyoming, and I'm a marketing columnist for BizWest, as well as the previous marketing director for Teledyne LaCroix International Paper, Leica Cameras, and in local Fort Collins, Colorado, the co-founder of Ignite Fort Collins. Eric Schoenfeld is our founder and CEO, and you're going to hear from him quite a bit this morning. He has had 20 years of digital marketing experience, has been the Chief Digital Officer for Penton Media, Interweave Publications, HarperCollins Christian Publishing, and is digital consultant for dozens of companies with a clear focus on marketing tactics, all of them being very practical for the local business person. Today we're going to talk about effective strategies for local businesses. Eric, I want to know, what was your inspiration for creating the Local Marketing Institute?
Sure. Well, first of all, hi, Lori, and thanks so much for joining us here with me. I've had a passion for this for a long time. About 5 years ago, I actually wrote a book, Local Search Optimization, and was really close to publishing it before I took a really great job with HarperCollins. But I also had the chance to teach a lot of local businesses at the Self-Storage Association, for the National Car Wash Association, and just really fell in love with local businesses, seeing their desire, their need for this information. And as we went through, hey, look, here are the fundamentals of local search, just to see the light bulbs turn on and the relief on their faces, realizing, hey, you know what, I can do this. My neighbor across the street even runs a Hawaiian restaurant just down here, and I've got a friend, all the Freddies here in northern Colorado, he operates those. I just really see them doing well in their businesses, but just struggling to get their hands around digital media. You know, one of the big things they come up with, they say, hey, I just don't know enough about digital marketing. I know I should be doing something, but I don't know what I should be doing. So that's why we started Local Marketing Institute, was really to teach them the fundamentals. We're not trying to turn a local business owner into a digital marketing expert. Here's the key things that you need to be doing in local search. But we're not going to get into make you a local search guru, and where it's your full-time job. You still want to make pizzas, or you still want to run your spa. Our second big pillar is email. And here's what you need to do to be very effective with email marketing as a local business. Social media is also huge. And a lot of these business owners want to know, what do I really need to do on social media that is effective and not a waste of my time? Online advertising is a really big thing. Local online advertising is developing out. We'll talk a little bit more about that here later on. And then we also talk about web development. I mean, your local business website, that's your home base. It's the online equivalent of walking through the front door. Then we wrap it all together with digital strategy and say, now look, here's how all these things fit together. And again, what we want to do here is demystify this and say, look, it doesn't have to be brain damage. Let's walk you through the fundamentals. And then we're here to help and guide people to other resources if they really need to dive in deep.
Can you help people understand? They confuse local business with small business. Aren't they one and the same?
No, that's a great question. And there is a difference between a local business and a small business. There are a lot of commonalities with small businesses, but the difference is a local business is a business that markets to a local constituency, either through their own store, through a small chain, or even through a large chain. The key is they serve their customer face-to-face, either at their own place of business or like a landscaper or a plumber or an electrician. They go out and they serve their customer face-to-face at their client's place of business. That's the difference between what a local business is versus a small business.
Right, and that face-to-face quality has to be combined in this day and age with some digital strategy, and it seems to be mutually exclusive, but it can be totally integrated as long as the owner of the local business doesn't feel intimidated by it.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, that's really what digital marketing is all about. Digital marketing is there to reach out and find the people so that you can then begin and draw them in so you can interact with them face to face.
All right. So it's only February. People are talking about trends in 2016. I bet you have some big game changers in mind in each of your 5 pillars. Let's start with local search. What do you think is the big deal happening in local search these days?
Well, so local search is absolutely huge for any local business. As a matter of fact, it's the first area that I really recommend most businesses look at. If a person can't find you, it's very hard for them to do business with you. There's a lot of change going on. So let me show you something here. This is Moz Local, one of my favorite groups out there. And this is their local search ecosystem. This chart will give you brain damage. I'm only bringing this up just to show that, look at all the different players that are involved here. I mean, there's these big data providers like Infogroup and Axiom and Localese and Factual. There's all the search engines like, Google and Bing and Yahoo. There's social media.
Yellow
Twitter.
Pages.
Yeah, Yellow Pages, Yext. What this is showing is that everybody is getting data from everybody else. When I talk with most local businesses, they look at this, they're going, I don't even know where to start. Frankly, it's even gotten worse than this, and it's continuing to fragment over time. The good news, though, is that there is a very simple process you can take people through and bypass all the brain damage. Some of the keys are making sure that people use their consistent business information everywhere they are, their name, address, and phone number, updating the local business data providers. There's a whole process we walk people through, a 6-step process. It doesn't have to be brain damage. This is going to continue to change. There's going to continue to be a lot of fragmentation, but it doesn't actually change the search engine strategy that a local business would go through. I mean, even things are changing with, take a look out here at the search engine results, right? So here's Google for pool installers in Denver, Colorado. They're changing the layout of this. This used to be called the 7-pack. Now they're down to the 3-pack. I see a lot of businesses stressing out about all the changes and trying to keep up with what's happening on Google and what's happening on Yelp and what's happening on Facebook, when realities are if we just go back to the fundamentals and the rest of this stuff will all take care of itself.
Well, what about social media? When we think of social media, it becomes much more of the ecosystem that we were just talking about, but the one that stands out in social media than the gorilla is Facebook.
Facebook. I love Facebook. So Facebook is really making a big push into local search. They're not making a lot of waves about it. You don't hear a whole lot about it, but they're quietly behind the scenes making a huge push into local business. Well, it's really started with the advent of pages and be able to have a local page for your business. The next big thing that happened was they started to launch other tools for local businesses. They're making a big push right now on communication. They really want people on Facebook to reach out to businesses through their Facebook page, and they want businesses to respond on a timely basis. So here's an example. Resurrection Fellowship happens to be the church I go to. I help them out. What you want to do is set up your response time. So now on Resurrection Fellowship, if someone sends us a private message, we want to say, hey, how fast do we want to reply? It can either just automatically show our average response time, or we could say, hey, we'll typically reply within a day, a few hours, or a few minutes. Facebook feels this is really important for a local business. Their ability to respond to customer inquiries. Direct messaging like on Facebook or Twitter is becoming just as important of a communication channel with customers as email. Or if they're not going to be responding, they need to make sure to turn messaging off so people know. Again, it's all about customer expectations and managing those expectations. So you can manage, hey, if you're outside the business hours, you can do away messages. Also instant reply. So even if I can't get back to them right away, I can instantly send the message, say, hey, we got your message. We're going to get back to you really, really soon.
Facebook is saying be responsive to your customers in our platform.
That's really what they're doing. Is they're saying, hey, if you're going to have a presence on our platform, we really want this to work well for consumers, and we want it to work well for you as a local business. So the other thing that they're doing here is they're kind of moving into this kind of CRM type tracking. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but when you go into your inbox of your inbound messages, You see all the various messages that are here. You can click on
Mm-hmm.
somebody and you see a running history of your interaction with that person.
Ah.
Right? So
So
there's this
CRM
whole
means customer relation management.
right, customer relationship
Mm-hmm.
management. They're moving more and more into this space, becoming kind of a dashboard for your interactions with customers. So when you pull up this customer, you can see a little bit about them over here. You can see what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can even begin to add some keywords about this person, and you can start to take notes about this person
With a customer, yeah.
with the
And you
customer.
can search those messages.
Yeah. So here's another example of someone who was asking about it. Do you have any sister churches in Washington? And there's our response back to them. And it's really fascinating that Facebook is trying to move and provide more and more tools for businesses to manage their relationship with their customers who also happen to be using Facebook. Do you have Facebook Messenger on your mobile device, Lori?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
do too.
do.
I resisted it for a long time, I'll admit. But I finally gave in a few months ago and said, okay, I really need to have Facebook Messenger on my phone. They're now releasing a whole new version of Messenger specific
Mm.
for businesses. It's a separate app that allows you to message back and forth with your customers. It's really, really cool. I won't go into all the details here. We'll probably have a whole separate session of this sometime down the road here.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
But you can even put this on your website, right? So you can say,
Uh-huh.
hey, contact us on using Facebook Messenger. The other things you can do is then you can send messages that are really in depth, right? So you could send, you could send a receipt, you could send a tracking
Oh my.
message. There's,
FedEx tracking.
yeah, all kinds of
Wow.
fun stuff you can do. If you happen to use Zendesk as your customer support system for customer tickets and that kind of thing, it actually will integrate with that. This is going to be an interesting new tool that they're just rolling out right now.
Oh my goodness. You can see what Facebook is trying to keep people on the platform day and night.
They want to become the internet, right?
Right.
The other thing I wanted to show
Right.
out here real quick that they've quietly rolled out is they've launched a whole new local business directory. I don't know if you knew about this either, but if you go to
Mm-hmm.
facebook.com/services, you can search for local businesses. And they're going to prioritize local businesses based upon your Facebook reviews and ratings. So I'm looking at Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Don't ask me why. I just kind of thought it was a cool place. They're going to prioritize plumbers that have the best ratings. As you can see over here, JTM Advanced Air Solutions, they've got a 5.0 rating. None of these others have any reviews, which is a travesty, by the way.
Yeah, reviews on Facebook.
Yeah, well, hey, just take a look at this. Look how JTM is going to clean up here in Mount Laurel with people who are
Mm-hmm.
looking on Facebook. None of these are even claimed. You can tell they're not even claimed because there's no photo on them. There's a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
missing stuff. It's really interesting. Spa, beauty and personal care is a little bit better on that. But you can see again, 4.6, 4.5, 4.4, 4.6. So it's going to take into account all these factors, your ratings, your reviews, how quickly you respond to customers. This is going to be really big. They're not really promoting this yet, but this is going to be just as big of a push as like Google Places is trying to be, or a Yelp or something like that, in trying to find a local business.
How do you find out about such things?
I talk to so many different local businesses, and they ask
Mm-hmm.
about these kind of things, and I hear about these kinds of things, and I want to really dive in, and I want to understand, what does this mean for a local business? If I'm a local business owner, and I think about my friends and neighbors who own local businesses, how can I help them understand what all this means, put it into context, so that they can grow their business without brain damage?
And know what's important and what's not.
Exactly.
Closely related to what we're looking at are these new and burgeoning recommendation services online.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about where that's headed?
So we're all familiar with Angie's List, kind of a matchmaking service with local businesses is really where Angie's List came at. But there's been some really big players move into this field to try to compete with Angie's List. Some big name players. First of all, you've got Amazon. right? So Amazon launched their home services section last year. They're leveraging the power of all their customers, all these people who already have all these credit cards on file with Amazon, and they're saying, hey, come on in here and check out these businesses, right? So home improvement. Let's go into home improvement, for example. I want to, let's see here. Actually, we had a ceiling fan that burned out the other day. So let's go look at ceiling fan installations in my local area. And boom, they're going to start to now, estimate $118 by the electrician LLC. Wow. I can add it to my cart right here on Amazon Home Services checkout, and these guys will come on out and take care of that fan for me. Google's getting into the act. It's really through Google Adwords. You can actually put up specific requests. Amy Thompson put in a request for house cleaning to a bunch of local businesses who can then build on that service. So you can become a qualified pro for that particular activity in your local area. So Google is moving into the home services business. Homeadvisor is also in here. So let's see here. Let's go ceiling fan repair. There we go. Right, I want to repair a ceiling fan. And literally what you're doing here is you're kind of putting together a request for proposal almost, right? So, hey, here we go. I can't get power to the fixture. It's a wall switch. And I can go on there and I can continue to say, hey, am I ready to do this? When would I like to be completed as a home residence business? And then this will submit that request to a bunch of local businesses who can then, in essence, claim the business or bid on the business. So you're seeing this like Angie's List, Amazon, Google, Homeadvisor. There's this real rise in these recommendation services out there. So this is something, Lori, that we're going to have to do, I think, an entire session on some point.
I agree, especially with Facebook getting into the mix. This will be huge. So anything to say about online advertising? You mentioned AdWords there for a minute.
Yeah, so look, here's one of the key things I think we got to be aware of is our organic, or in other words, free exposure online it's going to continue to decline over time. Folks like Google and Facebook, look, they're in this to make money. They're a for-profit business. They're not charities. For example, like pool installers over in Denver, right? And this used to be a huge chunk of real estate in previous designs on Google. Seven companies long. Now they're kind of focusing on the the 3-pack here. What's the first thing that you see? Ads.
Yeah.
From a local search optimization perspective, you got to look at ad optimizing in 3 different ways. How do you optimize your business to show up in the local search results? How do you optimize your business to show up in the organic web page results? But you can also jumpstart your efforts if you want to spend a little bit of money on like Google AdWords to jump up into these results. As a matter of fact, I'm working with a private school that my daughters happen to go to here. And I showed them this the other day, right? Hey, private school in Fort Collins, Colorado. This is what comes up. First of all, notice there's no ads. This school happens to be located actually just on the outskirts of Loveland. So if you click the more places, you'll see where is the school? Oh, wow, it's way down here. Great ratings. But it's way down here at the very bottom because it's pretty far away from the city center. So we talked about this and said, well, look, this is a real opportunity. For very little money on Google AdWords, we can do local ad targeting and put an ad for Resurrection Christian School right there.
With no competition, it's a slam dunk.
It's a slam dunk. Now, other markets and other industries, there may be greater competition, and you gotta weigh your investment. Because this exposure is continuing to decline both on Facebook and Google, your typical Facebook post is only going to reach maybe 15-20% of your followers tops, maybe even less. I personally believe that Google and Facebook are the best investments that a business can make, because that's where people are hanging out. You want to go where your audience is, and the biggest audiences that are there on Google and on Facebook. So, with Google, you can do Google AdWords and you can target a specific county or a city or a set of cities or a geographic region. Like here's one, 20 miles around Columbia. If I reach those people, here's how many people I can reach. So you can do a ton of targeting on that I won't get into too much detail on here. And the other thing I really like about the Google and Facebook models is it's pay per click. So
Exactly.
I'm not paying unless someone actually clicks on my ad and goes through. So I know I'm getting some value out of there. They wouldn't be clicking my ad if they weren't interested.
And a lot of people talk about, aren't my competitors going to click through and make my life miserable? And just to assure our members that Google figures that out and gives you a rebate if that ever were to happen to you. So in 2016, there's going to be more pay to play, especially Google and Facebook.
Yeah, I think there is. And I think that more local businesses are going to get on board and understand how they can utilize this without spending an arm and a leg, but utilize it to really grow their business. I want to just point this out here as well. YouTube is part of Google, so you can do local advertising on YouTube as well as on Google. Tons of people are out there looking at YouTube, looking at videos. I won't go into all the targeting options if you have a video ad. But you can also target other kinds of ads, text ads, and even static graphic ads. So I just want to make sure people understood that when you're talking about Google, you're really talking about both Google and YouTube. You can target both of those. So I just briefly want to get into Facebook here. All right, so Facebook has local ads. There's this little promote local business. And again, we won't go into this session here, the difference between the basic
boosted post and an ad.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff in here. We'll have a whole course just on Facebook advertising, just like we will on Google advertising. But the key thing I wanted to show here was the geo-targeting. Since Facebook knows where we are, I can say, hey, show this ad within a 20-mile radius. So if I show this ad within a 20-mile radius, I can reach 250,000 people.
And
so
if people don't realize how inexpensive it can be.
It can be very inexpensive. Literally pennies a click if you do your targeting right. So we'll go deep into this, but this is something I think a lot of businesses are just now getting into, local advertising on Facebook. Since Instagram is part of Facebook, when you do local advertising on Facebook, you can also do local advertising on Instagram. So here's some examples of some local ads on Instagram. So Best Bronze, a school, here's some fashion photographer. These are all folks who are doing local advertising on Instagram, and you can actually manage that with your Facebook account. If you focus on Google, you also get YouTube. You focus on Facebook, you can also do Instagram.
I think this is our last topic for today. What about mobile? What's going on in the world of mobile?
Bottom line, mobile's critical, especially for a local business. More and more people are spending more and more time on their phone. Is becoming their computer. There are more people using mobile devices as their only computer. I think the Local Search Association put this out. 60% of people use a mobile device now when searching for a local business. I actually think that sounds a little low to me, but the point is that the majority of people are using a mobile device when they search for a local business. Another key stat that came out from Movable Type, 68% of all emails are now being opened on a mobile device. That's just huge. I think the bottom line is that we're not moving into the mobile space, we're in mobile. And as a local business, you really should be thinking mobile first. Look at your website, look at your emails, look at everything on an iPhone or an Android phone, and make sure that your presence looks good on that. So let me give you a quick example here. Great little kids store in Philadelphia called Lolly Lolly. This is their website. The biggest challenge with their website, for example, is that it's not mobile responsive. So let me give you an example. Mobile responsive means that the site would automatically change based upon the size of someone's browser. So here's an example of an accounting firm, CPA. So notice how their site automatically changes when this user screens. So this would be what it would look like on a mobile device, right? This is what it would look like on a tablet, right? And then this is what it looks like on a desktop. There's a great tool out there. You don't need to worry about the URL, but just Google the words Google Mobile Friendly Test. If you look that up, it'll take you to this site. You can put your own website in here and run a test. And it will kind of show you and say, well, look, this is what your site looks like on a mobile phone. It's kind of all squished. It doesn't look good. Things like the text is too small to read. The links are too close together. Remember, on a mobile device, people aren't using a mouse and a pointer. They're using big old fat thumbs. We'll have a whole session and a whole course on mobile responsive and mobile friendly websites. Just be aware of this. Your customers are looking for your business. And if they go to your business website on a mobile phone and it's not mobile friendly, you're going to lose them as a customer.
And you lose Google's interest as well. Google is requiring mobile friendliness to rank.
That's a great point, Lori. Google is actually now starting to rank mobile-friendly sites over non-mobile friendly sites, especially when people use Google on a mobile phone. Did want to mention email too. Here's a bicycle shop, Lee's Cyclery. On desktop, it looks fine. Even though I will say, even on desktop, the text is a little small on things. But on my iPhone, it was even worse. Really tiny fonts, social media icons that I can't even click. All of these links are so close together that I wouldn't be able to click on them with my thumb. I know they're having a warehouse sale, but that's pretty much all I can read on here. And I see a fat tire bike, which I want to try one of those one day. I'm a mountain biker and road biker, but I haven't gotten into the fat tires yet. And then you can see how it kind of crushes down all of their locations down here. This is an example of, hey, they're doing a good job with email. They got actually some interesting content they're putting out, but their emails aren't mobile responsive. So got to really take a look at this. Constant Contact, MailChimp, two of the bigger ones out there, they all have mobile responsive templates.
For email. And remember that statistic, 68% open their email on their mobile device.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right.
All right. Well, we covered a lot. Is there anything else you needed to say about mobile?
Oh, there's tons to say about mobile, but we're kind of out of time on this session here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me just ask, what can the members and prospective members look forward to seeing in the upcoming weeks on LMI? Can you give us a little bit of coming attractions?
Sure. Well, so one of the things I'm excited about is that this is our first LMI talk, and in the coming weeks we'll have more LMI talks. But we'll be bringing in some great digital marketing experts from around the world, some amazing companies, Bright Local and Constant Contact and Get 5 Stars, and talking with them about how they can help local businesses. So I'm excited that we'll be doing these LMI talks. We'll continue to do new tips and case studies. At least a couple times a week, we're putting out some new stuff. Had a great case study that went out just earlier this week. And then for members, our courses, we launched our second course just a couple weeks ago on updating the local search data providers. And we'll be launching new courses. We're shooting for every 3 weeks or so, a brand new course. So go to localmarketinginstitute.com, sign up for the email newsletter that's out there, and then click the join link and take a look at actually becoming a member of LMI University. Again, our goal here is not to overwhelm you with all this detail. It's to make you aware of all these things, but then our courses lay out the plan. Here's what you need to do, right? Local search, boom. Here's what you need to do. Step A, B, C. Email, here's what you need to do. Online advertising, here's what you need to do. So we actually lay out the plan for you step by step. That's what's exciting to me about it. And, obviously we want to hear back from any local businesses out there. Let us know what you want to hear about. Let us know if you've got a great idea. If you're doing something awesome in marketing, we'd love to hear about that as well.